Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Mercy, thank you for checking out the channel. Anybody who's checking out the channel in the midst of this, bless you so much, whether you're here grief listening to laugh at my tears, or if you're here to cry with me. Your Miami Heat lose tonight to the Memphis Grizzlies. 125-91, and this puppy was very much over through the third quarter. This thing was over. But the Memphis Grizzlies young bucks got to get out there and just absolutely throttle Miami. But Miami was already down 27 going into the fourth. It was over. Oh, man, I feel like I could breathe fire with that. Phew. All right. So, you now have a team that has lost 7 straight. They're 8 games under 500, 29-38 on the season. They lost 7 straight last year. That did happen. I was very curious about longest losing streaks of where Miami is at. If you guys are curious, 17 is the longest. That was in the inaugural season for the Miami Heat. There was a 15-game losing streak in there, which was the 07-08 team, the 15-win Miami Heat, which, of course, resulted in them getting the number 2 pick that season when they were actively tanking. They have not had an 8-game losing streak since the 15-win season. That was a season that had an 8-game losing streak, an 11-game losing streak, and a 15-game losing streak. So we are on the cusp of something we haven't seen in nearly 20 years with the Miami Heat's current losing streak. They did have this last year towards the end of January where they lost 7 in a row. Ben actually made reference to it, the last game. But second night of a back-to-back in Memphis tonight. No Ja Morant. Actually came into this game with a little bit of an oddity that I was like, man, I feel like Ja Morant has not played against the Miami Heat in a long time. And I threw that into StatMuse. And he has not played against the Miami Heat since the 21-22 season. October of 2021 was the last time Ja Morant played against the Miami Heat. I did not watch pregame, but I did see they threw this stat up before her. They threw this stat up before tip-off as well. And I just thought, man, that's a really odd thing. He had a huge game last night, but he has missed his last 6 potential games against the Miami Heat. I know that there was a year in there where there was a suspension and injury, but there's been other years there where he's been healthy and he just happened to miss both games against Miami, and then he's missed the first one here against the Heat, and in the 21-22 he missed the last one there. So it is, maybe we'll see him later on in the year. I don't know, but we have not gotten to see Ja Morant play basketball against the Miami Heat in a very, very long time. That being said, the Miami Heat have become the team that you rest guys against because it's just easy pickings for the other team. And, we kind of feared this going into these games. We're like, oh, is there going to be a game where Miami gets right or surprises anybody in the midst of this losing streak? Well, look, mind you, when you lose the way they did to the Hornets and Bulls, you're losing, and I know the Bulls are actually playing pretty good basketball right now, but you lose to the Hornets. There's really no team you can't lose against. And that's just how it's looked. They really didn't hang with the Clippers. They kind of hung for 3 quarters with the Celtics. And tonight, probably the worst ass-kicking of them all that they took, because it was probably outside of a spirited run there in the second quarter. Wasn't really a close game at all for Miami. I mean, they gave up 38 points in the first quarter. Scottie Pippen Jr. was a dog on Miami, just completely, manhandling the Miami Heat intangibles in this game. He hit a 3-ball that put them on a 12-0 run. The one, there were, two good pieces of this game today. The first half from Jaime Jaquez Jr., once again, he's showing signs of life. So if I'm going to put any positive on this before I rip the holy hell out of the team, Jaime's looking like he's showing a pulse, especially early on in this game. That fourth quarter, everything was kind of over already, but he kind of sparked Miami to get back in this, him and Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson got going, and he was working with Jaime well, and Jaime had a shot at the end of the buzzer, and then Anderson found him for a slam dunk, and you're like, all right, he's showing a little bit of life. Then the other good part of this, Kel'el Ware, the early goings of this game, Kel'el Ware gets 3 big-time dunks, alley-oop set up by Tyler Herro, and then he gets into foul trouble. So, unfortunately, he has to come out, and Jaren Jackson Jr. was just a monster in this game. I mean, he smoked the Miami Heat today. Smoked the Miami Heat. Really was, for the most part, just feeding at Bam Adebayo bucket after bucket. The credentialed Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., 31 points tonight, 13 of 18 from the floor tonight. Just a pristine game of basketball from the former Defensive Player of the Year. He was absolutely outstanding today. But yeah, in the early goings of this, Kel'el just had a nice performance, and I think you look at his numbers overall, it was nice to see him have a game like this because, especially to find that offensive aggression from him, guys looking for him. So on the positive sides of things, that was good. He ends up finishing with 19 points, 11 rebounds tonight, but they were looking for him as a target. This, however, has to be looked into, okay? This isn't a joke anymore with the Terry Rozier thing, right? And this went viral tonight. And I saw this live, and my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, did I just see what I think I just saw? Did I see what I think I just saw? So to set it up for you guys, the Heat are actually making their one of their better runs of the game here to get back in this thing, right? And Kel'el Ware hits a 3-ball. He's been on a little bit of a slump skis when it comes to the 3-ball, but he gets a good look and he knocks it down. So he's wide open on the wing. Zach Edey is slow to come out to him, and Jaime Jaquez gets a great rebound. He's swinging it right to Kel'el, and Terry Rozier flies in like a bat out of hell, out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell? He flies in out of nowhere, picks off his own teammate, and did he hit the 3? You guys already know the answer. Didn't have a prayer to go in. It's not where the game ended tonight, but this thing has swept the internet, and this man's season just remains it's comically bad. And mind you, look, I'm not putting this all on Terry. I'm not saying they lost because of Terry Rozier tonight, okay? Just no, I'm not. But holy shit, that was he stole the ball from his own teammate. Jaime is looking for Kel'el. He's like, oh, Kel'el's got the hot hand. Boom, let's give it to the big fella. Zach Edey's nowhere close. Nope. Terry Rozier. Let it rain. Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. Man. Rozier did pay him back the next play. He did set up Jaime for a bucket. As I said, Jaime was looking pretty good. He got off to a nice start in this game. He got 8 points, 4 or 5 to start the game. Ware was looking good against Edey. Edey was having a tough time with him at times. Davion Mitchell then hit a 3, got Miami to within 3. That was about as close as they got. Yeah, I mean, Luke Kennard got going. Scottie Pippen was harassing Tyler Herro and just rips all over Duncan Robinson, who I don't even know if he made the flight to Memphis other than if you just saw him in the starting lineup. But, yeah, he got a 3-ball. Then Desmond Bane followed up with a 3-ball. And then Kennard and Jaren Jackson, back-to-back jumpers. They extend their lead to 15. It just really wasn't a game, man. It really wasn't. It wasn't a game at all. Third quarter comes out, and then Bam, who had not done much up to that point, he did not have a good first half in this affair. He actually, well, let's look at his Bam's what was his first half numbers today? Bam today, he was 6 points, 3 of 8. Just didn't have that same touch. I mean, it wasn't awful, but he really made a point in the was getting. I mean, if you're putting him versus what Triple J was doing, it wasn't even close. Triple J's first half, 23 points. Miami needed something, and he tried to provide that, and he really got going in the third quarter. Miami scored. This is crazy. 19 points in the third quarter. 19 points. And Bam scored 12 of them. And there was a point where he, starts getting a little bit of his juice going and actually gets it going versus Triple J, where, like, he hit a couple of threes, then he gets fouled by Triple J, then he's going right at him, he's forcing a miss, and there was this point where, the Heat were, I think, on a 9-2 run. They get it to within 12, I think. And you're like, all right, kind of, because it was starting to get out of hand early. And they get it back to within striking distance. Bam forces the miss, and like Tyler Herro, just like chucks up a 3, and it doesn't go. And then you're just like, all right, what are we doing here, dude? And then does it again. You're like, they just start going away from Bam Adebayo, and I'm like, why did you guys do that? He was cooking. Like, feed the hot hand. And instead, they go with a couple of Tyler Herro threes, and he goose-egged it in the third quarter. 0 for 6, 0 for 3 from downtown from Tyler Herro. And, man, he had some cockamamie quotes today about, stepping up as a leader, and it was a no-show for Boy Wonder. And this was, mind you, we've been tracking this a little bit, and I kind of feel like I gave Tyler Herro a little bit of a pass earlier on because I was like, all right, there's too much on his plate. What's going on? But he has really been struggling with his shot since about February, and since he was named an All-Star. And especially the 3-ball. The 3-ball is just like not dropping at all. And I know there's been an uptick in usage, and there's been other things that have been all right, and the scoring isn't plummeting. But like that 3-ball, which was magical early on in the season, it was 28% from 3 for the last 18 games, which dates back to February 1st. But he was 1 of 4 tonight. He was shooting from the field 43% in that time. He was 3 of 12 today. Jeez Louise, man. Those two, man, they have gotten the keys to this franchise without Jimmy Butler here. And it's not even like you could say they crashed it. It's almost like they can't even start the car. It has been underwhelming display from Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo as leaders of the helm here. They've done, some noble things, handling controversy and public scrutiny and all that type of stuff for the organization. But as far as on the play and leading this team, I mean, dude, like I told you, we're on the brink of a losing streak we haven't seen in the likes of, 17 years? That's tough. And then they show them on the end of the bench when the score was, hell was the score when they showed the two of them, then they got their mouths covered. They're like, they're doing the thing where they're trying to show, like, they're trying to talk, but they don't want anybody capturing what they're saying. And I think, I don't know, but we may have this mic'd up. Dude, we really, really suck. And in about 10 days, Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry are going to do horrible things to us on a basketball court. We have really, really, really done a bad job here. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, because Spo keeps talking about this beautiful side, beautiful things, nonsense. It just seems to get uglier. All right, good talk. Like, I don't know, like, what the hell are you guys, what secrets could you guys be talking about on the bench? What are you hiding from anybody? Jeez Louise. So, yeah, man, that, it all unraveled basically after that. You know, you got Desmond Bane hitting some big shots, and then there was a point where Bane misses a three and follow-up, and, like, nobody went out for, you know, nobody kept a body on it, and you're just like, Jesus. That was a tap out from the Heat. That was like tap machine. They were done. Pelle Larson, I guess, got to do some stuff in the fourth quarter. It was over. The only thing really from the fourth quarter that's worth mentioning that was hilarious was the Memphis Grizzlies. I think it was Jalen Wells, but Jaime Jaquez Jr. was going to the hoop, and they call a foul. It was a 26-point lead at that point for the Memphis Grizzlies, and for some reason, one way or another, Taylor Jenkins found the need. He goes, we got to challenge that. And I don't really care that he challenged it, but I know one guy who did, and that is the man who hates challenges like he hates anything in this world, and that was Erik Spoelstra. And I would just say, Taylor Jenkins, head on a swivel, dude. Like, I would watch walking to the parking lot today, because Erik Spoelstra may come with some elbows at you for challenging a play, which you were unsuccessful doing in the midst of a 26-point blowout where nobody is playing. So, careful, dude. That's all I'm saying. Final score, 125-91. Tonight, Miami gave up a season-high 72 points in the paint. It was willy-nilly for the Grizzlies today. Like I said, Triple J finished with 31 points. Desmond Bane, 22. He was 4 or 5 from downtown. For the Heat, Kel'el Ware was your leading scorer tonight, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Bam, 18 points and 6. 12 of those were in the third quarter. Tyler Herro had 8, 3 of 12 from the floor. Duncan Robinson, goose egg tonight, 0 for 3 in 13 minutes. Andrew Wiggins, 8 points, 3 of 8. And nice games off the bench from Jaime and from Kyle Anderson. They each had 13. Jaime got a little fourth quarter action where I don't think he got like much to drop, but he's showing signs of life, which is a good thing. Like, you know, like this guy was starting to look like, you're like, all right, is any of that basketball player still in there? And I think the last couple of games, you're like, are there flashes? We're starting to see a little bit of life from Jaime Jaquez Jr. in this one. But, yeah, man, I mean, this is one of those where you're just looking around and you're like, all right, how bad is this going to get? I was talking to my guy Vlad on Friday, and he was saying, like, he thinks the Heat have a chance against the Knicks this upcoming game against on Monday. Because I think the Knicks are out in Golden State right now. Let's see. As I record this, Golden State and the Knicks, a pretty close game. It's a 5-point game with it is it's 88-86 with about 4 minutes left. So, and is Brunson playing for them? Brunson's hurt, right? I believe Brunson is still dealing with the injury. So maybe the Knicks coming off a long trip from the West Coast is a possibility. But just, I know a game was close recently, but it just kind of feels like things are getting worse. And I don't really see an end in sight. Not if you're going, how the Heat have been playing basketball, talent for talent. I mean, dude, it's brutal. It's brutal right now. Forget just even the 7 in a row. I mean, you got 8 out of 9. 8 out of 9. The Heat, since they last won back-to-back games against Atlanta and Indiana, for the month of March, 1-8. Brutal. Brutal tonight. And I don't know. It doesn't look like there's any. I was asked, I wanted to bring this up. Somebody said, Phil, he's like, put the G League boys in. Let them get a crack at it. I'm all for. I'm not saying you got to play all three at once, but I am all for. At this point, dude, respect to Kyle Anderson and respect to whomever, like Terry Rozier, whatever minutes you're giving left to Terry Rozier. I am all for. Play Keyshawn, play Isaiah Stevens, play Josh Christopher. Give these guys minutes. You got 15 games left, dude. 15 games left. And let's see. Where are we at right now in the standings? Because I think, did the Bulls win tonight? Bulls lost tonight. They lost 117-114 to the Rockets on the road. But, you know, you're right there with them. You're right there with them. You're probably not going to get caught by the Raptors. You're probably at lowest going to fall to 10th, which means you got to play 2 road games. You got to win 2 play-in games, and they both got to be on the road. And just the idea of this Heat team winning 2 games in a week seems like a task at this. They're not, they're not far away from being one, but they're a game and a half back of Orlando right now. So we'll see. We'll see. But I am all for, like, let the young guys play. I'm dude, you don't have that's not something you ever have to convince me for. I am all for that. All for that. And I'm all for you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk some stuff tomorrow. I'll listen to post game. I didn't have it in me tonight. Unless like I missed something viral that happened, I'll do another video. So I'll go back and watch post game and see if anything was talked about. But we'll get into some of that stuff tomorrow on the Sunday day off. And we forge on, everybody. Look, we forge on. We that's what Spo told us. We forge on. Forge beautiful things, and stress is good, and don't let go of the rope. Do you remember, like, that was such a, I got to be honest with you. They played that, and, like, the more I think about, what an insult to play that clip. The don't let go of the rope. That's what we're going to play an all-time Spo classic for this slop. Man. Oh. Brutal. We got spanked in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel? Supposed to stress is good.